Hey, Andy, I heard you guys talking a little bit before you tossed it to me. I asked Jonathan Gano yesterday if they've ever dealt with anything like this, and he said in his time here, no. They've dealt with small sinkholes on a much smaller scale, but nothing this big, and kind of he had a look of befuddlement because there was no rain, there was no water main break. Are going to be sold out for all 4 sessions, and it's going to be a great time. We're going to keep you updated on everything that has to do with NCAA wrestling over the next 4 days. Be sure to check out WHOTV.com as well as our newscast. Reporting from Madison Square Garden, Josh Nguyen, Channel 13 News. It's more about what we're hearing than what we're seeing this morning. As we're sitting here getting ready for this live chat, we're hearing slushing. That's good news. That means that brine, that salt, that's working this morning. It's making your ride into work go a little bit smoother.
The colors are bright and the walls are loud, and it all seems like fun. But this is the last place a parent wants to take their kid.
It's B-cell ALL. It's a form of leukemia.
That means the 5th floor at Blank Children's Hospital will be Martinez's home for a while, because his 2-year-old son was just diagnosed with cancer last month.
Obviously, it changes your life. It changes everything.
They've got a long battle ahead of them. But luckily, Raphael has 500 of his other kids who are along for the fight.
We care for him and what's going on with his family.
Raphael is a PE teacher at Marshalltown High, and word of Pablo's illness spread quickly.
It's just sad how he has to deal with that.
It's horrible. I don't know a 2-year-old should have to go through that.
The students wanted to let him know they're here to help, but making a big class trip is impossible because of a weak immune system, and sending 500 cards is impractical. So they came up with a solution.
So I thought, well, instead of having 500 cards coming, why not just do a video of all the classes each period?
It started with making him this video. It didn't stop there, though.
Pablo, no one fights alone.
They made shirts and wore wristbands and even collected their own money to help him with bills. So far, they've raised $6 grand.
I feel like we're very lucky. I really mean it. We're very lucky in the fact that we have a lot of people around us.
He'll be forever grateful for the kindness these kids have shown his family, and he knows the positive thoughts are already making a difference.
Yes, no doubt about it.
In Des Moines, Josh Nguyen, Channel 13 News.
This is a look at the last 10 years, and the last 3 years have been a really good stretch for Iowa drivers comparative, as they've seen the lowest number of accidents and fatality deaths since they've started keeping track. Last year we had 320. This year we're on pace for 440. That's a number that we haven't seen since 2007, and it's a number they want to see go down. We're going to welcome in Sergeant Nate Ludwig with the State Patrol. Feels like Groundhog's Day. We're doing the same story. Yep. We're talking about fatalities. We're talking about texting and driving. You don't want to do this story. So what are the things you guys are doing to make sure we're not... Good morning, guys. We're live inside of the Iowa State Fair. He's got a lot to say. All right.
Live at Iowa Speedway inside of the pace car, making sure everything is good. And they're letting me drive the pace car. This is probably a bad idea for them. Coming up, we'll let you know what's going on with the races today. Also, we'll tell you about some of the new food that's happening here at the Iowa Speedway.
When you walk into Living Unit 18, it feels like a normal dorm. You got all the dorm essentials, a bunk bed, a wardrobe, a few pictures, and even something to pass the time. But it doesn't take very long to realize you're not in a normal dorm.
My friend Bill, he was killed last year in a homicide in Des Moines.
This is an inside look at Facility Z at Mitchellville's women's prison, and Jen is our guide for the day.
Right here, my little living area.
She's excited, but also a little nervous that she's going home next week.
I've done well out there, and I've done not so well out there. So when I do well out there and I come back like this last time, it's frustrating too. It's disappointing to myself and then to the people that helped me.
This will be her 5th stint at Mitchellville. She knows there's a ton of reasons why she's here again, but the only person she can blame is herself.
A judge sentenced me one time and told me that if I was to stay on my meds, I probably wouldn't relapse as much, and he was correct, I believe.
Jen is part of a growing number of women incarcerated that suffer from mental illness. The Bureau of Justice Stats estimates that 73% of all women suffer from some sort of mental health issue in our prison systems today.
And then you dump them all in prison and you expect them to deal with that with a $22 million budget. Well, that doesn't work.
Ross was a former inmate here, and she knows their struggle all too well. She comes back to volunteer and she talks with them, and she knows that there's not enough counselors here to help these women. For the 700 inmates, there are only 11 counselors on staff.
More staff to help teach classes for the women who need substance abuse assistance, more staff to help provide mental health services. Those kinds of things are important when it comes to helping people.
You got to have the money to do that, and everyone here knows that isn't going to happen. The corrections budget is often the first item reduced in any annual budget. So fewer resources leads to fewer inmates prepared for reentry. That leads to more reoffenders, and that vicious cycle goes on and on. So instead of just spinning the wheel over again, they decided to do something about it. Here's a look at the first reentry summit. They welcomed in politicians and community leaders inside the prison, hopefully to give them a better look at what these women have and don't have. The other part of the day is to show them how difficult it is for these women once they get out. All of the leaders went through the same simulation. It shows how difficult it is and how easy it can be to slip up once these women leave prison. Warden Cheryl Dom says they will work with the resources they have for now. But if we really want to help these women, it will take more from the people on the outside. We'll close with Jen. She believes this time will be different from the other times. She's aligned herself with a group that will help her find a house and a job, and hopefully she won't be back.
So I want to say that, yes. My goal is that, yes.
In Mitchellville, Josh Nguyen, Channel 13 News.
Send it back to you guys from Louisville. Sonia, happy birthday. I didn't forget about your birthday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take $2. There's a horse that reminds me of you. It's called Sudden Breaking News. It's going to go off at about 50 to 1. So if that horse wins, I owe you $100, and that's going to be a pretty cool birthday present. So hopefully I'm bringing back $100 for you when I see you on Monday.
love it.
Across the city.
One last tip to stay cool this summer, and it might be the most important one. Make sure you got some spare change in your pocket in case you run into two adorable kids like Brock and Tyler here. You can buy some lemonade. Reporting in Ankeny, Josh Nguyen, Channel 13 News.
High school for some students can feel like working in a factory. They do the same thing over and over again until it's time to punch out. And for a lot of them, the hardest part isn't the grind, it's trying to figure out what's next.
I was going to use that one.
For a growing number of students with Des Moines public schools like Jorge Escobedo, college isn't the best option for them, but the district is working to fix that.
It feels great. I mean, I used to be so worried about like, hey, what am I going to do when I graduate? But now I have something waiting for me and something I actually enjoy doing.
Jorge is lucky. He has a plan. He's already working part-time for a welder shop in the metro. And when he graduates, they already have a spot for him. And he knows that none of that would have been possible if it wasn't for his shop welding classes he took at Central Campus.
That's why I always got here as early as I could every day.
Jorge is the model for what the district is trying to replicate when they expand the skilled trades program next year. They hope to enroll 150 students in the new program.
The Skilled Trades Academy program is going to give students an opportunity to experience skills in all the different trades and then take those skills into a second and third year where they can build their skills in the trade that they like best.
If students complete all 3 years of the program, they'll be ready to enter the construction workforce with a leg up, and local employers cannot wait to hire these kids.
The labor shortages that we're experiencing are unprecedented.
So not only are these kids learning valuable traits, they're going to walk into great paying, high demand jobs.
Unbelievable amount of money in construction. Take, for example, we have a person who installs insulation in the walls. He makes around $80,000 a year.